What is up, everybody? My name is Undone Catalyst, and welcome to Princess Evangile. Now, this is a game I've actually had for a while. I just never got around to playing it. So I think I bought this back in like 2017, 2018 maybe. I haven't played the game or even loaded it up until now. But this is actually another visual novel. Now, I've been kind of playing visual novels off and on my channel. For anybody that isn't familiar with my channel, or if you're new here, one of the former series that I did up until recently was a game called Moe Ninja Girls, and it was a mobile game. It was a mobile visual novel. I played that for a number of years. But fortunately, that game got shut down, so I didn't actually get to finish the story. So I've been kind of looking for new visual novels to play. And I thought, I've had this one for a while, so I thought this would be fun to try out for a... So I thought this one would be fun to do for like a little series, sort of. Now, I actually came across this game back in 2016. Back then, I used to watch a lot of Lost Pause, like Noble, for anybody that's familiar with him. But this was one of the series he did, actually. And I thought the game looked kind of fun, so I wanted to try it out for myself. Because I think at that time, the only visual novel I really played was Doki Doki Literature Club. I still have a series on that as well, because I did a whole live stream on that as well. I thought it was a fun game. I know they did release, I know for a Doki Doki Literature Club, they did release like an expansion on it or something. I'm not too familiar with that, but anyway. But yeah, I've been wanting to look for more visual novels, so I thought, since I already had this one, I thought I might as well check this one out. This game is relatively long. From what I gather, it's like 40 plus hours of content, so... But the cool thing about this is actually like, the story is already completed. Like, once you buy the game, you get the whole story. That was the one thing I hated about Moe Ninja Girls, was you have... Like, it's not... Because, I mean, well, you had to wait until when they released more of the story, and I didn't even get through all of it anyway before they decided to shut the game down, which sucks. So this one I can play like as long as I want and finish it whenever, so it's nice. But anyway, now this game in particular, this was originally an Euro game. Now for anybody that knows what eroges are, you guys would know that it's more of like, leans on more like the hentai side of things. So the original game does have nudity in it and stuff, and love scenes, what they're called H scenes, but since this is a Steam version, so the nudity is all cut out and everything, but I feel like there is still some like suggestive stuff in this, so there might be some points in this where it may need to censor some stuff, but other than that, it shouldn't be too bad, I'm thinking, but... Anyway, I'm excited to get into this one. It should be kind of interesting. So I guess we'll start a new game here, so... Oh, it does just throw you right into it. Okay. The background audio is so loud. I haven't figured out... Yeah, that is loud as fuck. Hold on a minute. Okay. Hopefully that's a little better. Yeah. The game, like, the configuration menu on this game is very janky. Like, I couldn't even full screen this thing correctly, so I had to, like, do, like, window mode and to stretch it out. Like, it probably doesn't look too great, but it's not bad. Anyway. So what I was trying to say before we just got thrown into it is this game does have full voice acting in it, which kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it, because I was hoping to do, like, come up with my own voices and stuff, because that's what I did in Moe Ninja Girls. But that's alright. It's not a big deal, I guess. Okay, hopefully that's better. Yeah, I have to keep tinkering with shit here, but I think we got it. But yeah, so all the characters do have voice acting in it, so the only voice acting that I really get to do is for our main character. So this is Masaya, who I guess he's the main character. Yeah, I haven't seen or I haven't seen anything on this game in a long time, so I don't really remember what the entire plot is. But yeah, Masaya, he's like our protagonist here, so it should be interesting. But anyway, this should be fun. I'm excited to get into it. So, all right. So, whew. I breathed into my hands. It was cold. Atsui. Wait, no, Samui. Samui is cold. Damn, it's cold out here. The sun had set and it was so cold I had a hard time believing that school was starting soon. Of course, the state of my wallet was probably affecting my perception of the weather, as was my lack of a place to go. Whew. This time, I sighed. The full moon hung heavily over me. My name is Okonogi Masaya, and the cold I felt ran deep. My story started the day before. I'm tired. As usual, I returned to my apartment after work. Even though I was home, there was nothing fun to do there but stare at my father's face. I was back in my hometown for the first time in the year. I thought about rounding up my friends for karaoke, but I don't think I could see them now. Besides, I was broke. The apartment we were in now didn't require a finder's fee or security deposit, but we had to pay the first 3 months' rent in advance. God damn, that sucks. That had wiped out what little savings I had. But running away with nothing but the clothes on our backs definitely saved a lot of moving expenses. However, no matter how much you save, it costs money to start a new life. I had always been poor, but now I was on the verge of being penniless. I've only just started my job and I don't get paid until the 20th of next month. What was I going to do until then? My anxious thoughts swirled around in my head, but I forced myself to stop. It was pointless to focus on the negative. Fine, I'll just go to sleep. Possibly due to my numerous part-time jobs, I hadn't had any time to sleep lately. Even though one of my redeeming features had always been taking care of myself enough not to get sick. I mounted the old, rusted stairs that felt like they would give way with every step. Okay, why are everything this so loud in this game?
Config.
Alright, so, mounted the old, rusted stairs, yeah, okay. My old man and I were holed up in a room on the second floor. I'm home. I guess he's not in here. Those mob guys must have been back. Dad spent most of his time lazing around the house or fleeing from loan sharks. Of course, I told him to get a job. I told him get a job a number of times. When I did, he'd give me the strange little smile and say,
ごめんね、マサヤ君。父さん、箸より重たいものを持ったことがないんだ。
Yeah, so there is full voice acting in this game, which is kind of interesting, I guess. Like I said, it takes some of the fun out of it, just because it would be nice to come up with my own. I mean, I could probably I could just mute the voices and do my own thing, but I don't know, it's kind of nice to hear. It's cool to hear the voice acting too, in a sense, but anyway. Alright, so, sorry Masaya-kun, I've never carried anything heavier than chopsticks before. He was really hopeless. I turned on the light. There was a scrap of paper in an envelope on the table. I checked the paper first. It was my old man's handwriting, written on dollar store memo paper.
生活に疲れました。父さんは旅に出ます。
I'm tired of this lifestyle. I'm going on a trip. Like, good luck, asshole. Like, well, shit. Of course. Mochiron. I let out a sigh and threw the note in the trash can. I put my hand on my chest. Compared to the sadness I experienced when my mother left, all I could feel now was relief. It's like, what a deadbeat, good riddance. I glanced around the room and noticed what few belongings my dad had were now gone. My old man really had left me. Damn, what a real piece of shit, damn. In any case, he had never contributed to our living expenses. Him being gone wasn't an issue. In fact, it might make things easier. But the problem is now you got to take on his debt. I'm starting to remember what the plot for this game was, because now he's gonna have to take on his debt. So he's gonna have to work to pay off his dad's debt. I feel like a lot of animes have kind of had a similar like plot, or I feel, but anyway. What's this envelope? A farewell gift, huh? I don't think he's got any money. And if he did, he wouldn't give it to me. There were 2 sheets of paper inside the envelope. As I expected, it wasn't a farewell gift at all. There was something written on them. I wondered why he'd kept this separate from the memo, though.
ところで、父さんたちが抱えていた借金ですが。
Regarding the money we owe. We owe? I'm pretty sure those debts are all yours.
この機会に、マサヤ君に一本化しておきました。
I'm transferring it to your name. Good luck. Gee, thanks. Huh?
同封した紙は例の極悪組への証文です。
So contract with the goons, okay.
マサヤ君が寝ている間に母印を押しておきました。てへ。
Shut the fuck up. Like, oh, I took your thumbprint. Hehe.
マサヤ君、よく寝ていたな。きっとバイトの疲れが溜まっているんでしょうね。
What a fucking scumbag. Wow.
バイトなんかはそこそこにして体には気をつけるんだぞ。お前の父さんより。
You're a shitty father. Tosan. The next thing I knew, I had crumpled up the paper in my hand. I looked down at my thumb, so that's where the red stain had come from. That old bastard! Kisama? 1 year ago, we left the town I had lived in all my life, Tsurugigaoka. Our family life had been falling apart for as long as I could remember. All because my father was a deadbeat. My mother had given up on him long ago, but didn't want to leave him until I'd reached a certain point in my life. Then, on the evening of my 10th birthday, she brought me to a park and said,
母さんね、お前が10歳になるまでは待とうと思っていたの。
wanted to wait until you were 10 years old. For what?
離婚を。離婚の意味はわかるわね。
For my divorce, okay. Yes?
10歳になれば、ある程度の分別も身につくわ。母さん、マサヤには、父さんと別れることも仕方のないことだと分かってほしかったの。
Leaving your father was something I had to do. Okay.
こんなのは、親の勝手な言い草に過ぎないんでしょうけれど。
I shook my head. Even as a child, I understood that my parents couldn't stay together anymore.
そう。ありがとう。マサヤは優しいわね。
In the cold light of the street lamps, it seemed she was smiling for the first time.
じゃあマサヤ、友達とお別れする時間もなくて申し訳ないけれど、早速家を出るわよ。
We have to leave immediately. Oh, so she wanted to take him with her. Okay. Right now?
ええ。父さんと話し合いなんかしたら、きっと引き止められるに決まっている。そして、あの人のペースに巻き込まれてしまう。 口のうまさに関しては天才的なんだから。母さんね、もう話し合いもしたくないの。
I never want to talk to him again. Okay.
離婚届に判をついて置いておくわ。行き先ももちろん知らせない。
Okay, not gonna tell him where we're going.
マサヤが大人になった時はたまには顔を合わせるのもいいでしょう。けれど当面はこれっきり。
I have to make a clean break.
さあ行きましょう。荷物は少しずつまとめてあったの。あの人が帰らないうちに出ていくわよ。
Okay. I'm not going. He didn't want to go. That's interesting. Why the fuck not? Better than this bullshit.
Eh?
Yeah. I had that same reaction. Like, what are you doing? My mother's eyes opened wide as she looked at me. To her, it was as if her son had started speaking an alien language. In my childish way, I explained to her that I felt like I couldn't just abandon my father. Mom would be fine on her own, but Dad wouldn't. That was the conclusion I had reached, which was why I couldn't go along with my mother. Mother was upset and in the end decided to cancel that day's flight. She spent some time trying to convince me, but in the end she was the one who gave up.
わかったわ。
She left the house alone, promising to stay in contact with me. I could still clearly see the image of my mother walking off into the rainy night. In the end, my mom was right. Yep. I looked down at the crumpled paper in my hand. Now that I knew how the world worked, I realized Dad would have turned out this way whether I had been here or not. But what am I going to do about this? My thumbprint was on the loan. The interest rate was 30% every 10 days. 30%. 30%? A paper like this had no legal merit, but I doubted that logic was going to appease those two. My father's one redeeming feature was what my mother once called his genius way of talking around people. He managed to hold off even the most fearsome of loan sharks with the most laid-back manner possible. Until last year, we had somehow managed to keep up, but then the debts got too big, and my old man broke under the pressure. And that's when we ran away. Damn, I should have stayed in Tsurugi-gaoka. Back then, a part of me still felt sorry for him. I had also just graduated from my old school. That sense of finality might have had some influence on my actions. I graduated, then fled to some unfamiliar land and enrolled in school there. I had started to think that the loan sharks had given up and we'd made a clean break when suddenly the local mafia came calling. How badly in debt did you get? I screamed at him, but my father just gave me that little smile and shook his head.
どうやら債権が渡ったようなんだよ。
Creditors was to transfer the loan to them. My father's skill as a hustler had just made the situation even worse. Unable to get around his skilled way with words, the creditors had sold his loan to the mafia. And the force they used to collect our debt was on a completely different scale. My dad wheeled and dealed, but in the end he only bought us a year. And now we had once again returned to Tsurugi-gaoka.
やっぱり生まれ故郷が一番だもんね。
Good to be home. I was mad about the short notice as usual, but I couldn't say I wasn't glad to be going back home. I had just finished my first year at school, so it was a good time to transfer. The problem was that since he never earned any money, the loan wasn't going to just disappear. This time, I didn't even have a chance to catch my breath. A new creditor would come calling soon. That was the goons. Their efforts to collect were much more violent. I had known we couldn't keep up this life much longer, but still. I never thought it would end like this. I was finally ready to abandon my old man. In my heart, he was no longer my father. From now on, I would just call him the bastard. But even so, what was I going to do? In the past, if a loan shark or a mob guy approached me, I could point them at the bastard and that would be that. On the few occasions they'd gone after me, I could admit that the bastard had still helped me out. But now that he was gone, I had to deal with it on my own this time. Me, an average student. Unlike him, I knew I couldn't talk my way out of it like he could. What do I do? I sunk down onto the worn-out tatami mat. I had to run away, but to where? I'd already spent all my money on rent. I felt like all of my strength was leaving my body. Just then, there was a rapid knocking on the door. I felt my limp body tense up instantly. Okay, that is kind of cool. They EQ'd it a certain way to make it sound like he's speaking through the door. That's kind of sweet. Whoa! I thought I could pretend I wasn't home, but the door was so thin they could easily break it down. Each kick caused the door to rattle. It really did look like it was about to break inward. I quickly moved to the back of the room, opened the closet door, and squeezed inside. Closing the door didn't block out much sound, but it cut off most of the light and left me in the dark. I couldn't ride this out by hiding in the closet. I stood up, leaned forward, and located the ceiling board above me. I lifted it up and set it aside. Ugh. Restraining the urge to cough from the dust, I pulled myself up above the ceiling. I heard the sound of the door breaking down just as I got the board back into place.
Huh?
There was a crawl space in the ceiling, and despite it being a tight fit, I managed to make it through. From there, I made it outside, climbed down the rain gutter, and ran off at full speed.
親父、どうもイルスじゃなかったみたいですね。
Why is the window this color? Okay, these purple windows indicate events taking place from the point of view of people other than the protagonist. Okay, so I mean, I could have gotten that. Okay.
押し入れにもいねえや。あのガキ、金もねえくせにどっかで遊んでいやがるのかおう、見ろ、清。え？あの野郎の書き置きが残ってる。書き置き？あの野郎ももうおしめえだな。借金の方にてめえのガキを売る。あいつが売ったのはガキだけじゃねえ。てめえの魂まで売っちまったんだ。そうっすね。
Okay. That was yesterday. Kino. I had spent almost a full day just wandering around the city. I skipped work today just in case. I didn't want to make trouble for them. Calling an absent right after I start. If this continued, I'd be fired after 3 days. If I didn't get my first month's pay, all the work I'd done would have been for nothing. I was starting to miss that rundown apartment. At least it had a ceiling and a floor. I didn't want to sleep on the street. I was tired to begin with and napped on the park bench for a while, but now I was just exhausted. I'll end up dying in the streets at this rate. The fact that I wasn't joking showed just how grave my situation was. I checked the contents of my wallet again. 100 yen coins. 1. That's really not a lot of money. 10 yen coins. 6. That was all. I had no paper bills, nothing of use. I thought about running out to an automatic loan machine. But I knew better than anyone that once you started borrowing money, you'd never stop. And I wasn't sure if they'd lend money to a student anyway. That's right, what would I do about school? How was I supposed to get any learning done in a situation like this? Due to my unique situation, the school agreed to defer my tuition payment, but there was no way I could pay it with the goons after me. Damn. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how badly I was trapped. I hung my head in the middle of the street. Somewhere inside me, I knew that there was no way out. Although the hunger, cold, and exhaustion made it hard to get my thoughts together. People passed by, shooting me concealed glances. But I looked straight ahead and watched them walk by with lonely thoughts in my heart. Those people all had homes to return to. Warm houses with families waiting. I didn't have anything. The realization that I was all alone in the world suddenly pierced my mind like an arrow. It wasn't like I wanted to live with that freeloading father of mine. But even so, the sudden realization caused my vision to blur. Damn. I rubbed my eyes hard. I wasn't alone, my mother was still out there. My mother had kept in contact with me all this time, but I never tried to see her. She had started a new life in a new place. Perhaps now is the time to impose on family. I heard the sound of footsteps passing by, some moving ahead and some moving behind me. Until yesterday, I had always had some place to go, some place to come home to. It was all that bastard's fault. Damn. If I ever saw him again, I was going to hit him. It occurred to me that I hadn't eaten anything since dinner the night before. One anpan and a can of milk. I should eat something. If I ate something, it might put me in a more positive mood. Though I wasn't sure what I could do to satisfy my stomach with 160 yen. I saw the lights of a convenience store in the corner up ahead and walked toward it. Just then, a figure appeared near my feet. Cat. A scrawny cat with matted fur stared up at me. Normally, I wouldn't give a thought to a stray cat, but... What's wrong? You're all alone too, huh? I was so lonely I found myself talking to it. The stray kept its distance, but looked up at me with a surprisingly affectionate meow. Yeah, I'm hungry too. I got a fish sausage, which seemed like the most filling option for my money. I thought the cat would have run off and I'd eat on my own, but when I came back, it was sitting right where I left it. I guess I don't have much of a choice. When I removed the packaging, the cat smelled it and walked right up to me. I broke it in half, stuck one piece in my mouth, and offered the other to the cat. The cat quickly devoured it, then looked up hungrily at my mouth. Sorry, it's all gone. When a gust of wind sent the newspaper flying, I suddenly remembered the lottery ticket I bought earlier. More precisely, that lottery ticket that the bastard had made me buy. I didn't want to waste our money, but he was so adamant on getting rich quick, he ended up forcing it on me. Now, where did I put it? Did I lose it somewhere? I searched around in my pants pockets and found the warm, worn-out ticket. The announcement should be today, and the newspaper probably had those results. I picked it up and walked over to one of the street lamps. Just then, an unpleasant sight met my eyes. What's going on? I was too far away to hear what they were saying, but it was clearly an argument of some kind. The people passing by seemed too afraid to get involved and just sped up as they passed. Alright, we have our first choice of the game, so we can help her or ignore her and leave. I might do a quick save here, just because that way we can...
クイックセーブ
That way we can, like, come back to this at a later date, but... For now, I think I'm gonna help her. So let's do it. What are you doing? Okay, that's how you collapse the menu. Cool. Yeah, I was curious about that. Okay. The whole group turned my way. Just then, the girl escaped their grasp and ran toward me.
お願い助けてください
Okay. I turned boldly toward her blue-suited attackers and hit the girl behind my back. One of them advanced on me, acting as group representative.
何者です
May I ask who you are? Suspicious man. You can clearly see they have boobs. So yeah. He's got an awfully high-pitched voice. Oh, he just assumes that that's a male. Okay. Doesn't matter who I am. What are you doing?
あなたには関係のないことですさあその子をお渡しなさい
Despite saying please, the glint in his eye and quietly imposing presence told me that these people could give the goons a run for their money. Just who are these people? Their stances left no openings. Alright, sorry about that little pause there. I thought I heard something, but... Alright, let's just continue. Alright, who was this girl and why were these people after her? I glanced back and found her glaring at the blue-suited figures from over my shoulder.
引かないのですか
Nope. Huh?
引かないのですかと聞いている
Right. I couldn't walk away now. Pushing the girl with my body, I gradually began to draw back. But the blue-suited figure didn't miss the gesture. Without a sound, he closed the distance and reached for me. He's fast. He moves so smoothly, he clearly wasn't your standard ruffian. His hand slipped past me, reaching for the girl's arm instead. They didn't seem to want to use violence, but I reflexively struck out with my hand. It met with a surprisingly pillowy softness. Yeah, here we go. Huh?
この近め
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't even get out my apology before my opponent slipped into a stance.
は
This time, her fist was aimed directly at my face. I quickly dropped down, the punch just barely missed me, and I could feel it tearing through the air above my head. Tch. It was a total coincidence that the punch missed me, but the woman seemed to be in shock. The other three, who had previously been watching, began stalking towards us. They seemed to radiate anger from every pore. This isn't good. My presence seemed to have escalated the situation to a new level of hostility. I'm sorry, I held up my hands apologetically, but it was clear that the situation was far beyond saving. One of the suits rushed forward. I tensed up, determined to protect the girl behind me. I barely had any strength from the start. I was prepared for what was coming, and yet... The blue-suited figure had just about reached me when she suddenly tripped and lost her balance. It was the cat from before, repaying the debt he owed me? Thanks to the cat, the suit went tumbling. Her friends quickly moved to help her up. I felt a tug on my right hand and turned back around. Okay. Right. Our footsteps rang off into the night. We started running, zigzagging down the streets until the footsteps of our pursuers died down behind us. Maybe it was the hunger, but I quickly ran out of breath. The girl seemed to be having trouble breathing too, so I slowed down and turned to face her. There were so many things I wanted to ask her, but right now both of us needed to catch our breath. Phew. My body wasn't ready to move so much. My head is spinning. Normally it wouldn't be so bad. Jim was actually one of my best subjects. She took a deep breath, then turned to face me. Huh. The moment I saw her straight on for the first time, it was like something snapped inside my brain. Huh. She seemed to mistake my surprise for something else. She released my hand, her face flushed. That's right, we've been holding hands all this time. I felt my face grow hot. That was the first time I'd ever held hands with a girl, and besides, she's really beautiful. I had never seen anyone so beautiful, not even on TV. She averted eyes as she blushed and withdrew a handkerchief from her pocket. I couldn't take my eyes off her as she wiped the sweat from her brow. Even that was beautiful. Oh, she'd gotten the wrong idea again. Regardless, I found my hand moving to take it. Are you sure? Oh, well... I hadn't even taken a bath for the night. I tried to remain calm as I took the pleasant-smelling handkerchief and lightly wiped the sweat from my face. What do I what? No, I think he just got lucky, but... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nothing in particular, I just got lucky, yeah. That's kind of what I figured. You must have excellent reflexes, I guess. From the sound of it, she was very familiar with those people. I asked her about that point, and she responded with vague affirmation. She's probably consistently getting in trouble with them, so I bet she's very familiar. Rather than pushing the matter any further, I fell silent and quickly offered the handkerchief back to her. Thank you. With the handkerchief returned, we had run out of things to talk about. But what was that strange feeling I had earlier? That strange sensation I felt when I got a clear look at her face for the first time. It was like a momentary ripple on the still water of my mind. It disappeared without a trace, but the feeling had definitely been real. Is it just because she's so beautiful? No way. It bothered me, but it wasn't like asking her would do us any good. She'd probably think it was a pickup line. Well, I should be going. I started to turn away when a strange noise rumbled from the pit of my stomach. Hmm?
あら
I could feel my ears burning in embarrassment. Her laugh didn't seem malicious. I actually welcomed it. I felt revived and turned back with a wry smile on my lips. Haha, I'm on a bit of a diet right now.
ダイエット？男の人でもそういうことするのかしら？
Oh, well, I think they do. Fat people and such.
なるほど。肥満は男性女性関係ないわよね。でもあなたは。
She took a moment to inspect me from head to toe.
ダイエットなんかする必要はないと思うけれど。
Yeah, probably not. That's true.
それにほら話している間にもお腹がギュウギュウなっているじゃないの。やりすぎは良くないんじゃなくて？
Yep. Right. そうだよ。
そうだ。
Yeah. She smiled suddenly as if she'd come up with a good idea.
私も夕飯はまだなの。よかったらご一緒しましょうよ。
What?
あとちょっとお話ししたいこともあるし、いかがかしら？
Is she trying to pick me up? That couldn't be it. She didn't seem the type to pick up random men, though the reverse was surely common.
さあ、行きましょうよ。
行きましょう. Alright. Sure. The girl began walking promptly. I spoke up self-consciously. The girl turned back, an anxious expression on her face.
ダメかしら。この後何か用事でも？
No, it isn't that. I don't have any money.
何？
I had spoken so softly she didn't hear me. I spoke again, louder this time. I don't have any money. I mean, haven't gotten paid for my job yet.
ああ、そういうこと。
She gave me the same easy smile as before.
もちろん私が出させていただくわ。さっきのお礼に。
Oh. Are you sure? Really?
ええ、今のお話を伺う前から私はそのつもりでいてよ。だって私本当に感謝したんですもの。あの辺り仕事帰りなのか結構人の通りは多かったわ。けれど通る人みんな知らんぷりばかり。
それは揉め事に巻き込まれたくないって気持ちは私にも想像はつきます。けれど私は助けを求めていて、なのにみんな見えないふり聞こえないふりばっかりだった。それはやっぱり私にとっては残念なことで。けれどあなたは来てくれた。向こうは4人もいたというのにたった1人で。あなたが助けに入ってくれて私は本当に嬉しかったの。いくら感謝してもしたりないという気持ち、私はあなたの勇気を尊いものだと思います。
Oh. I had never received such a straight, honest compliment. I felt a tightness in my chest and an inexplicable heat filling my cheeks. At the same time, her cheeks turned red and she slumped over a little. Maybe she was the bashful type too.
さあ行きましょう。こっちに来た時必ず行くお気に入りのお店があるの。そこに案内して差し上げるわ。
Sure.
「私はローセンインリセ」。
Lise Rosenin. Okay. Rosenin Lise. As we went about our introductions, I was hoping she would say something that would trigger a memory, but nothing came. It's an unusual name, and she's gorgeous. I'm sure I would remember her. Maybe I made a mistake before. I'm Okonogi Masaya.
おこのぎまさやさんね。よろしく。
よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。Likewise. She didn't seem to recognize my name, so this was definitely our first meeting. By the way, there's something I've been wondering. Are we heading for the shops around the station?
ええ、それが
Rosanin-san, are you sure those people won't come after you? They must be searching for you by now.
ああ、その前に私のことはリセで結構よ。その代わり私もマサヤさんって呼ばせていただくわ。
Right. I had only known one girl who let me address her by her given name. To address Rise-san by her first name after we just met made me hesitant and self-conscious. However, she seemed to think it was completely natural.
それで今のマサヤさんの疑問だけど、本来であればもちろん見つからないように行動しないといけないわ。けれど今はもう半分は目的を達したようなものだから、だから最悪見つかっても構わないの。
Halfway to my goal already, huh? What? Halfway to your goal?
それは食べながら話をさせていただくわ。というか、むしろマサヤさんに聞いていただくという言い方の方が正しいでしょうけれど、いいかしら。
Oh, sure.
ごめんなさいね。中身も言わないうちにこんな言い方をして、あなたとしては返事のしようもないでしょうけれど。
When she said she wanted to speak to me, I guess she wasn't just making a pass after all. It sounded serious based on the way she was speaking, but we'd only just met. What could she possibly want to talk to me about? Well, I'll find out soon enough. I noticed that you speak very politely, Rise-san.
あら、そう？
She seemed surprised by that. If she wasn't even aware of it, she must have been born in the money.
変な風に聞こえたら失礼。子供の頃からこういう喋り方だから。
Oh, it's okay. I shook my head quickly. I didn't mean that it was a bad thing, it's just something I noticed.
けど、 すると確かにキーに思える喋り方なんでしょうね。
She seemed very serious about it, reflective even. By the way, would you mind explaining what happened earlier while we eat?
そのつもり。
Okay. I see. Daisuke-san led me to an open-air cafe in the line of shops near the station. I knew about it since I had lived in this town until just last year, but I'd never been inside it before. Ah, are you sure about this? I heard this place is expensive.
もちろん。それにここ案外リーズナブルなのよ。だから気になさらないで。
Well, if you insist. My stomach growled again, though I tried to stop it.
よほどお腹が空いていらっしゃるのね。リバウンドもあることだし、ダイエットは計画的にやった方がよくてよ。
You'll rebound on your diet. Right, that's a good point. When I told Ise-san I didn't have any money, she didn't seem to understand that I was flat broke. Ise-san opened the menu. It was intricately bound, and just looking at it caused my head to spin. It's so expensive. It looked like an Italian restaurant, and one pasta dish would cost me 2,000 yen. This is definitely a high-class place. At any rate, there was a clear difference between Rise-san's standard of living and my own.
せっかくだからコースにしようかと思うんですけど、いかが？それともお食事は控えめの方がいいのかしら？
Oh no! I shook my head quickly. The whole diet thing was just a whim. I'm quitting it right now.
そう、それがいいと私も思うわ。
They summoned the waiter with a practiced manner and ordered a full-course meal for both of us.
お酒はいりません。まさやさんも飲まないわよね。
No, I'm too young, actually.
あ、そうか。年が一番重要だったんだ。
What does that mean? What?
その、ソフトドリンクはこちらにあるわ。どれにします？
Soft drink? Which would you prefer? Oh, I'll have an oolong tea.
私もそれをください。
Ah. Very well. The waiter left. Lise turned her eyes down to the table.
やっぱりそれが一番大事よね。しかもピンポイントなところが要求される。
She whispered something to herself, then looked up at me.
つかぬことを伺います。まさやさんはおいくつ？
Ah. How old am I?
ええ。
She stared straight into my eyes as though this question was of the utmost importance. Well, I told her my age. She let out a small sigh and her shoulders sank. Why is that a big deal?
そう、私と同い年か。
So? My answer depressed her. I guess that was a bad thing. Why is that? Why? But why? Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand her reaction at all.
私は私立万世の女学園に通っています。
Ah. Oh, that's right. Vincennes is a school for upper-class girls, isn't it? That's amazing. That explained her proper way of speaking.
ええ、まあそうね。お嬢様学校ではあるわ。
I had meant it as a compliment, but Ise-san seemed less than happy about it. Vincennes Girls Academy, even I had heard of it. It was famous all over the country. It was out in the mountains, a 30-minute bus ride from the station. A true paradise for women. The locals always said, half in awe and half sarcastically, it's where the nobles live. Wait, I thought Vincennes was a boarding school, and the students weren't allowed out. Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
いいえ、合っているわ。
I love it, she says that. No, you're right. That's right. Well then... Oh, of course, it's spring vacation. Lisa-san shook her head again.
春休みは原則外出不可なの。期間が短いし、学年が上がって何かとバタバタするから。
Oh, then why are you here?
私、不良なのよ。
I don't think you should be so happy about that, but... Sure. You do you, I guess. Really?
まあ、不良は冗談です。けれど私、万線路のセキュリティを抜けて、夜な夜な徘徊しているんですから。
Huh. Wow. Wait, wandering? Is that a joke too?
そちらは本当。それで危険な目にもあって、この町って案外治安が悪かったのかしら。
Trouble? Like before, you mean?
あれとは違います。ちょっとね。まあ、女子が一人で夜の街を出歩くものではないんでしょうね、きっと。
Yeah, you'd probably be right. I didn't quite understand, but it seemed she was serious about the wandering. I wanted to ask her, what are you wandering around for? But she spoke up before I could.
まさやさんはどちらに？学校の話ですけれど。
Oh, I stammered for a moment, but finally told her the name of the school I had planned on attending. Though in reality, before I started going there, I still had to cancel my original transfer.
変なこと聞くようですけれど。
Yeah?
まさやさん、その学校にきちんと通っていらっしゃるのよね。
Huh? I struggled to keep my voice down. How did she know? Do I really look like a homeless person after all? I took a subtle whiff inside my shirt. Well, I had gotten pretty stinky after all.
通っているに決まっているわよね。
When I didn't answer her immediately, she asked again.
人柄が良くて今年から新入学する。そんな都合のいい人、なかなかいるはずがないわよね。
Wait, what are you talking about?
ごめんなさい。
A self-conscious smile appeared on her lips.
一人でブツブツつぶやいたりして、そのために来ていただいたんですもの。きちんと説明するわ。
Sure. Even setting the matter of the people chasing her aside, Lise-san's manner raised so many questions. I was hoping her explanation would answer some of those questions.
その前に。
She looked off in another direction and smiled brightly.
前菜が来たみたいよ。まずはご飯にしましょう。
Whoa, there they are. The conversation was suddenly a distant blur as I filled up my stomach for the first time in ages. I wasn't sure when I might get a decent meal again, so I wanted to replenish myself as much as I could here. We're so sorry for the wait. This is scallop and botan shrimp carpaccio. Whoa. The waiter couldn't leave soon enough, so I took up my fork and started to eat. So good.
なんで泣いているの？おかしい。
Lisa-san laughed at me, but I didn't care.
そんな風に食べる人初めて見たわ。
So sorry. I'm being so rude.
そんなことなくてよ。気持ちのいい食べっぷりだわ。さあ、私も食べよっと。お腹が空いていることでは私も負けてはいないんですからね。
We were eating dessert, something called dolce, and drinking espresso. I felt wonderfully full. Ew, that was great. It was really, really great.
本当に私もこのパッパ通り付きの石に来るとつい食べ過ぎてしまうわ。
The food certainly was good, but no sauce made food seem as delicious as an empty stomach did. Thank you, I needed that.
助かったって何が？
Oh, I mean... I leaned back in my chair to rest my stomach, a blissful smile on my face. Just then, I felt a rustle in my back pocket. I pulled out the sheet of beat-up newsprint from pocket. Oh, that's right!
それ新聞紙？
Yeah, could you give me a minute? I opened it with a rustle. It was just one page, but it happened to be the one with the winning numbers written on it. I checked the lottery numbers. Group 10, number 161375. Huh? I was pretty sure I didn't win, but I'd paid 300 yen for the thing, so I wanted to check. I began tracing the list of numbers up, starting at the bottom. No winners. It's not number 2 either. Well, that's the way it goes. When I checked number 1, though, I saw the number 161375. I recognize that number. 161375. 161375. I moved my eyes back to the ticket. The number was 161375. Huh? My breath caught in my throat. Wait. This has got to be some kind of mistake. I checked it again. It was the number 1 on the newspaper list. I read it aloud in my head. 161375. What?
どうかした？
Wait. I tried to remain calm. It wasn't all about the number. There was also the group ID. Okay, this is group 10. These are the numbers for group 10. Group 10. The group on my ticket was 10. What? That's right. What was the date? It would be rather devastating if this turned out to be last year's paper. My hands trembled causing the newspaper to rustle as I unfolded it and peered at the date. Today is March 31st, 2011. I checked the newspaper's date. It was definitely today. Whoa. I should have felt happy, but it's like something had shorted out in my brain. I just let out a soft moan.
どうかなさったの？マサヤさん、顔が青くってよ。まさか食当たり？
He's just having a... He's just having a crisis at the moment. Just give him some time. Reisa-san, give me a minute, please.
はい。
Here. I handed her the worn out lottery ticket in the newspaper. Could you compare these for me? I think I might be dreaming.
宝くじ？
Mm-hmm. Terrified of her reaction, I tilted my head downwards and shut my eyes tightly.
あらすごい。この宝くじ当選していてよ。
Uh-huh. Wow! Sorry, I'm gonna go cash this in real quick, but be right back.
この時間に？
At this time of night?
なんですげえ勢いで行っちまった。あの野郎、俺らに気がついていたんすかね。
Mm-hmm. So the goons caught up to him finally.
さあのだがそうは見えなかったがな。
せやね。変な野郎だぜ。
この人たち。
Those people. Lisei's breath caught in her throat as the two men suddenly approached her. Lisei had run into trouble before during one of her walks around town at night. Those men were the source of that trouble.
ジョーちゃんよ。この前あんなことがあって懲りずに下界を歩き回るた。見かけによらずいい度胸してるじゃねえか。
She struggled to keep from shaking. She wasn't going to let these men see her sweat.
それに人の目もあるところでめったなことができるはずないんだから。
I really doubt that would stop them, but yeah.
あなた方もいい度胸をしていらっしゃるようね。営利誘拐は重罪だわ。きっと警察に捕まってよ。
Case that's the police.
んなことは本当に誘拐されてから言ってみろ。
That's right, the two of them had tried to kidnap Lisei. She thought wearing her uniform would help her in her scouting endeavors, but had also made her the perfect target. At the time, the man had said,
おめえその制服バンセヌのもんだな。てこた金持ちだ。だな。さらえばいくら要求できるかな。
She clawed at his face as hard as she could, then ran away at top speed. Despite that, Lisei had continued to wear her conspicuous uniform. Maybe she really was gutsy that way.
あんときゃよくも思いっきり引っかいてくれたな。見てみろやこら。いい男が台無しだぞ。
Lisei refused to acknowledge his words.
今日は何の用です？こんな人の目もあるところでまた犯罪ですか？
いや、用があったのはお前の方ではない。あのガキの方だ。
マサヤさんのこと？あなたたちみたいな人がマサヤさんと一体どんな関係が？
The henchman slammed his fist down onto the table, causing the other restaurant patrons to jump in surprise. The waiter rushed toward them. Excuse me, sir, you seem to be making the other customers uncomfortable. The underling ignored him and raised his voice.
あの野郎はな、借金があんだよ。
借金？
Owes you money?
いくらだと思う？これだぞ。
He held out his hand and extended all 5 of his fingers. How much was that exactly?
こっちはな、さっさと返してもらわねえと干上がっちまうんだよ。
マサヤさんがなんであなたたちに借金なんか？
Take a wild guess.
あ？おめえ何も聞いてねえのか？騙されてるんじゃねえのか？
騙すも何もそんな話は出なかっただけです。
おめえあいつの劣子なんじゃねえのか？
He raised his pinky finger and spoke the unfamiliar word. Issei didn't know what he was talking about.
どうも違うみたいだな。もしもそうならジョーちゃんに風呂屋で働いてもらうって手もあったが。
お風呂屋さん？
とにかまととぶってやがる。
まあ本当にわからんのかもしれんな。
おう、ジョーちゃんよ。
He suddenly drew close to her, and Issei pulled back. He had an unpleasant smell about him.
ジョーちゃんみたいに高貴で金持ちな女の子は彼氏にする野郎はちゃんと選んだ方がいいぜ。ジョーちゃんだって彼氏のためにしたくもねえ仕事をして金なんか稼ぎたくねえだろ？あ？あとあれだ、あいつはもうダメだね。なんせあの野郎親にも捨てられたからな。
親に？
親に捨てられたやつは極道にでもなるしかねえんだよ。ねえ親父。まあとにかくあいつには気をつけるこったな。父親も詐欺師だしな。カエルの子はカエル。あいつの目当てはきっと金だぜ。っていうかよ、さっき走っていったのも食い逃げじゃねえのか？女一人残して食い逃げ。
The plates on the table clattered as Elise found herself rising to her feet. She didn't know why these insults against a man she had only just met caused her blood to boil so. She didn't know, but she wasn't about to stop herself either.
Huh?
Elise's right hand moved through the air. Aw, slap the shit out of him. I want to see it happen. Hell yeah. Yeah! You go, girl.
Huh?
At first, the man had no idea what had happened. He remained where he was, head turned from the force of the slap.
お金で人の価値が決まるものではないわ。親だって関係ありません。
Yeah, true.
マサヤさんは立派な人です。侮辱を訂正なさい。
てめえ。
Alright, try something, asshole. Let's see you do it. His face slowly began to purple. His eyes opened so wide it looked like his eyeballs might pop out.
こんな相手なら殴らない。とでも思ったか。ああ!
Yeah, you want to do it with all these witnesses around, dickhead? Ah. There was a scream. As the man lashed out at her, Elise could only cower in fear. Oh shit. The bank was already closed, so I couldn't cash in the ticket. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. There was no real rush, and it was probably strange that I had rushed off like that earlier. This is the first time I've ever wanted to thank my old man. I held the lottery ticket firmly in my hand just to make sure it wouldn't go flying somewhere. The night before, my entire future seemed black, with no prospects at all. Now it was shining, all thanks to that one little ticket. Now I can pay back the debt and cut ties with the Mafia once and for all. Then I could go to school. I could drop at least one of my jobs. I could make 100 friends. And then, maybe I can get back in contact with her. My childhood friend, who I hadn't seen nor heard from since I graduated from my last school, Eitatsu Auxiliary School. I returned to the restaurant with a spring in my step. As I did, an unbelievable sight greeted my eyes. The goons, what are they doing to Rise-san? There was a scream. I have to get there in time. There's a sound of bone cracking. Ooh. I'm about to feel pain like none I've ever felt before. I wonder if I can take it. That's what Rise was thinking, but then... Are? There was no pain at all. Hesitantly, Rise opened her eyes. It wasn't one of those filthy mafia men standing in front of her. It was him. Ow, ow, ow! Itai! I had thrown myself recklessly into the conflict, but it seemed I had made it in time. Are you okay? He just managed to avoid anything vital, so I wasn't as badly hurt as I could have been. The two goons faced me again. The restaurant was in a panic. I quickly looked around for the waiter. He was using the phone. Calling the police, I bet. That would settle that at least, or so I might have had said in another situation. But right now, I couldn't let that be the end of it. How dare you try to hurt Rise-san? I didn't usually get this angry. The better part of my nature always told me to lay off. I ignored it now and advanced upon the two goons. I felt her grab my hand. I turned back to see her there, pale-faced and shaking her head. The tension drained out of my body. You'd better not show your face in here again. The henchman sniffed derisively. Well, actually, he never did. I know that. Right now, He shoved me roughly. The easily angered henchman's eyes widened as he grabbed at my collar. My body reacted before I could think. I dropped down suddenly. Because he was holding on to me so tightly, I ended up pulling him down with me. I rolled over once, then quickly kicked him off of me. The henchman went flying. He flew over the restaurant's fence, tracing an arc in the air before crashing to the ground. Again, I think he's just lucky. I just picked it up naturally over time. It's not the first time I've dealt with people like you. The boss helped his henchman off the ground and went on his way. I was met by gasps of surprise and applause from the people around us. I guess so. That's I'm like guessing what he's saying before it happens. It's funny. I guess so. Anyway, I'm sorry. Those guys are, well...
いえ、 マサヤさんが謝ることはないわ。私もあの二人には因縁があるの。
Really?
以前誘拐しようとしてきたことがあるのよ。営利誘拐よ。驚いてしまうわ。
That's... I had no idea what to say to that.
そういえば警察が来るのかしら。
Possibly. Deisasan looked out toward the street. I saw the waiter on the phone with them, but it'll probably be a while before they arrive.
お店の備品が壊れたりはしていないわよね。
I looked around at the tables and the floor. None of the dishes were broken. It had just been upsetting for the customers.
だったら面倒なことになる前にさっさと言ってしまわない？
She gave me a mischievous smile, which made me happy for reasons I couldn't explain, and all I could do in return was nod.
じゃあチェックしてきてしまうわ。お店の人には私から謝っておくから、マサヤさんは外で待っていて。
I knew why it made me so happy. Because she wanted me to stay. Because I knew we wouldn't be parting ways yet. But where are we going to go? Oh, that's right. I haven't heard her story yet. I stood in front of the restaurant thinking it over when I was suddenly assaulted by the feeling I was forgetting something important. Huh, wait a minute. I felt a violent unease creeping over me, but what reason did I have to be unhappy? The goons were gone, Lisa-san seemed to want to be my friend, I had won the lottery, so money... The lottery ticket! I let out a sudden cry, my hands searching my clothing. I checked my pockets, but... It's gone! 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 I couldn't find it anywhere. Wait a minute. Calm down. You had it when you arrived at the restaurant. I had lost it sometime after that. That's right, when I sent that guy flying. I marched back into the restaurant and searched every corner but didn't find it. Can't be serious. My whole body went limp. I was afraid I might even lose bladder control. The thing that was going to ensure my rosy future... It had all slipped through my fingers. But I did it to save Risa-san. I guess it was worth it. I wasn't just making excuses. I really meant it. Even so, the shock was so great that I couldn't do anything but stare. Haha! For a moment, my mind boiled. Ah!
どうかした？
Hey you, that's not food! I leaped across the ground. My fingers got within 5 centimeters before the cat twisted his body away and I fell flat on the ground. With not a trace of gratitude for the sauces I gave him, he had arched his back fiercely and then ran off. He was carrying my lottery ticket. Wait! My cry rang out fruitlessly into the night.
どうかなさったの？本当に。
I slumped down to the ground, unable to move a muscle.
ほら、パトカーも来たみたいよ。とりあえずここを離れましょうよ。
Right. I dragged myself to my feet. She started brushing off the dust on my clothing.
なんだか面白い人ね、マサヤさんって。
I bet so, yeah. I explained to her everything about my debt. I didn't intend to tell her at first, but it seemed the goons had mentioned it, so I thought I'd better give her the full story. I was going to use that to pay off my debt, but now... I guess there are no easy answers in this world.
ごめんなさい。
Huh?
あの人があれだけ怒っていたのは私が叩いたせいなの。だから原因は私が引き起こしたと言えるわ。
No, Rise-san, it isn't your...
マサヤさんの未来を台無しにしてしまってどうお詫びしたらいいのか。
It's not your fault, Rise-san. It's because I got so angry. I should have just let it go. But when I saw that he was trying to hurt you, it just made me lose my temper. And so...
顔は大丈夫？
Ah, it's fine. The pain was almost gone. I had completely forgotten it until she reminded me. But she produced a handkerchief from her handbag and pressed it to my nose.
血の跡があるわ。
Oh. It's okay. I don't want it to get dirty.
いいえ、マサヤさんはじっとしていて。
She grabbed my wrist so I stopped trying to move. At this range, I could feel her breath on me. For some reason, it made me tense up. But that was pretty brave of you, Rise-san. You really slapped him?
いいえ、そんなことではないわ。ちょっと我慢できないことがあって。
Did they do something to you?
いえ、そういうことではないの。それより宝くじの賞金っていくらなの？
Was it like 100 million yen or something? Yeah. Huh. I think it was 100 million yen?
おばあ様に相談してみます。おばあ様はそのくらい持っているかもしれない。
No, it's fine, really. Ise-san fixed her expression in a frown as she continued to wipe at my face.
綺麗になったわ。
Oh. Thanks. We started walking again. We didn't discuss where we were going, it just felt like we were taking a walk around the neighborhood. I guess this is what she meant by wandering. I realized we had been talking about me all this time. Ise-san still hadn't said what she was going to say.
マサヤさんはどうするのかしら。生活とか学校とか。
I don't know. I don't have a home. I can't go to school. I guess I'll probably end up going to live with my mom.
お母様のところって言うと？
Well, my parents divorced a long time ago. Then she started up a new family somewhere else. It seems a little rude for me to just drop in on her.
じゃあ、聞きますけれど。
Yeah? Her tone was strangely earnest. I tilted my head curiously.
明日からの予定は日常生活のレベルから言って白紙と言って差し支えないのね。
That's true. My daily life plans. It was true.
もしもよ、マサヤさんさえ良ければの話ですけれど。
Her gaze became more determined as she stared into my eyes.
私はあなたに衣食住を提供できるわ。
Huh? I met her gaze. I had no idea what she was talking about. Does she want me to move in with her? No way. For some reason, that delusion got me more excited than the practical concern of having room and board.
マサヤさん、
Yes? She took in a deep breath, then released it, then spoke.
あなたバンセンヌに入学してみない？
Huh? Haha! That's the start of the first act. Okay, that's the end of the first act. Sweet. Awesome. Alright, we kind of already saw this, so... So it's the end of Chapter 0. Hell yeah. So the prologue, I guess. So now we're moving into Chapter 1. Welcome to Vincennes.
第1話万仙女へようこそ
Yokoso. So today, April 4th. Huh. Interesting. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think I'm going to end this one here. I'm really excited to play this, and hopefully you guys are excited to go on the journey with me. Yeah, this will probably be another pretty long series, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Yeah, I'm excited to check this one out, so. But yeah. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, you can let me know by leaving a like or telling me in the comments below. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, peace.